Hello everybody, Mobius Y here with another video for Stellaris Console Edition. Today's video is going to be discussing one of the game's unique features, and this video's topic will be about Titans, which is one of the new ship classes introduced with the Apocalypse DLC. Now before continuing with the video, if you'd like to see more Stellaris Console Edition content, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. I normally upload at least once per week as per my stream schedule, and sometimes more. This particular mechanics video will be somewhat unscripted, unlike previous videos, but I still intend to cover the topic in great detail. So hopefully by the end of this video, you will have learned something. I'd also like to note that players who do not have the Apocalypse DLC installed cannot build a Titan of their own in a single-player game. However, in a multiplayer game, if the hosting player has Apocalypse installed and active at the start of the game, then everyone in the game can construct Titans. For those who do not own Apocalypse, my hope is that videos such as this one convince you to purchase it. So let's get started talking about Titans, starting with their technological requirements. So Titans are massive capital ships. They are the pride of your military fleets, and they can literally sway space battles in your favor just with their presence alone. Now the look of your Titans is dependent on which style of ship appearance you selected, but they all behave the same. As you can see, I have avian Titans here because my ship set for this particular save file was the avian style of ships. So the particular technologies you need. There is an engineering technology called Titans, and that is the direct prerequisite needed in order to construct your own Titans. You can see it here under the engineering tree. It is a type of Voidcraft technology. Now, before you can even get the Titans technology, before that will show up as a possibility, you also need the battleships technology before it. And in order to actually build a Titan, you also need the engineering technology Citadels, as they are needed to construct a Titan assembly yard. Now, a Titan assembly yard is a starbase building that can only be constructed on a Citadel starbase that has a shipyard module. As you can see here in my shipyard, I have 6 shipyard modules, and this has to be upgraded all the way up to a Citadel class of starbase in order for you to be able to construct the Titan assembly yard. Now, constructing a Titan is very expensive and takes a long time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shipyards tab here. So a single Titan right now is costing me well over 2,000 alloys to build and over 1,200 days to construct one as well. This takes 4 times longer than to build a single battleship at my shipyards. So there is a large amount of resources and time that goes into constructing even a single Titan. However, you can build multiple Titans simultaneously so long as the starbase has multiple shipyard modules constructed on it. So by default, every empire has a maximum capacity of Titans. By default, the Titan cap is just 1, and it increases by 1 more for every 200 points of naval capacity that you attain for your empire. So if you look at the top right, you'll see that I only have 288 naval capacity, and I have 2 Titans constructed. I've built the one that you can get right from the get-go, and I increased my naval capacity enough to allow me to construct a second one. If I go to my shipyard, you can see that by highlighting the 2 Titan designs that I have, it shows on the right-hand side near the bottom, our empire can only support 2 Titan-sized ships. So in order to be able to build a 3rd Titan for my military fleets, I need to get my naval capacity up over 400. Now, the maximum Titans that can be constructed and commanded simultaneously is 20. In order to get that many Titans, players need to get 3,800 naval capacity in order to do this, which is pretty crazy. So if you're actually able to get that much naval capacity by expanding enough and building enough star bases into anchorages or constructing fortress worlds with things like strongholds to provide soldier jobs, those increase naval capacity. Build enough of those, get your naval capacity up to almost 4,000, and you could build up to 20 Titans for your fleets. Now in the ship designer Titans cannot be edited very much. There's specific sections, which, of course, there's 3 of them, just like a battleship. Those themselves cannot be edited in Ship Designer. They all have the same section types, which gives them a total of 6 large weapon slots, 1 titanic weapon slot, 12 large component slots, 3 auxiliary component slots, and 1 aura component slot. All of these individual slots can be edited, with, of course, the exception being the Titanic weapon on the Titan bow. There's only one option for that. So the 2 major determining factors with your Titan that really set it apart from your battleships are its main Perdition Beam weapon and the aura component, which we'll go over in a little bit here. But let's talk about the Perdition Beam first. So the Perdition Beam can also be constructed on your ion cannon defensive platforms, so that they're a really nice piece of defense for your star bases protecting your territory. But on a Titan, they really stand out. A Perdition Beam is insanely powerful with huge range. At its base value, it can one-shot most battleships unless they're heavily upgraded with late-game technologies. For example, lots of repeatable technologies that increase that battleship's number of shields, number of armor, and that kind of stuff. Unless they have lots of copies of those and have really high-end shields and armor components attached to them, the Perdition Beam could still essentially one-shot them. If you look at the damage values, it ranges between 5,000 to 10,000 damage per shot, and its range is 250. That's its base range, which is 100 units further than any XL weapon that a battleship can equip. The downside of the Perdition Beam is it has quite a long cooldown, 21.75 days before it can shoot again. This rounds out its total average damage to about 300 points of damage per day, simply because the single blast of the Perdition Beam is so powerful. So if you have several Titans roaming around in one big fleet, they can get off some alpha volley shots that just devastate most of an enemy's fleet before they can even get a shot off back to you. So let's talk about aura effects. These auras are unique to Titans, and they come in 2 varieties. You have offensive auras and defensive auras. So the offensive auras debuff enemy ships, while defensive auras buff friendly ships. The major important thing to remember is that offensive auras affect all enemy ships in the same star system as your Titan, but the defensive auras only buff friendly ships that are in the same fleet as your Titan. Let's take a look at some of these different aura effects. So for offensive auras, you have the shield dampener, which reduces enemy shield hit points by 20%. You have the quantum destabilizer, which reduces enemy ship fire rate by 10%. That one's pretty good. And you have the subspace snare, which increases the time it takes for enemy emergency FTL jump to spool up by another 100%. So it takes them twice as long to be able to emergency FTL their fleet out of a losing battle. And it also reduces combat disengagement chance by 20%. So when ships have a habit of jumping out of the battle before getting destroyed, the subspace snare reduces the likelihood of that happening. So those are offensive auras. For defensive auras, you have Inspiring Presence, which is really good. This increases the fire rate of friendly ships by plus 5%. You also have the Targeting Grid, which increases the tracking of friendly ships by plus 10, directly counteracting 10% of enemy evasion. So this makes it easier for your fleets to land their shots. And last, you have the Nanobot Cloud. This increases the daily hull regen of friendly ships by plus 1 and daily armor regen by daily armor regen by plus 3. Normally, you would have to get your fleets to fly all the way back to a starbase to repair. However, if there is a Titan in your fleet that has this Nanobot Cloud, they can self-repair over time, not needing to return all the way back to your territory to repair themselves. They could just sit somewhere safe, not engage in combat for a while, and repair themselves over time. So, as I said, Offensive auras, debuffing enemy ships. That happens to any enemy ships in the same star system as your Titan with an offensive aura. But defensive auras only apply to friendly ships that are in the same fleet as your Titan. So I've got two Titans right in front of me here. We have the JB Holman, which actually has the increased ship fire rate aura, the Inspiring Presence, so it increases ship fire rate by plus 5%. And the other one next to it is the Razor X06, which has the Subspace Snare to reduce the likelihood of enemies escaping and allowing me to destroy their ships. So I've got a nearby fleet over here. If we take a look, I'm going to move the cursor over this particular cruiser. You can see in the details box, when I move the cursor over this ship, that this ship's total fire rate bonus right now is 35%. So I am going to actually select this particular fleet. Which one is it? It's not these guys. Why do I have these guys named the same? Anyways, okay, so the Shooter Boys, we're going to merge with the Shooter Boys. Okay, so I've got the correct Titan selected. I am now going to merge these fleets together, and you'll see that once they have done so, the ship fire rate bonus will change from 35%. It should change up to 40%. It's actually changed up to 43% on this particular cruiser. See, now it says ship fire rate plus 43%. So as you can see, the bonus from the JB Holman only applied as soon as I merged the Titan in with the rest of this fleet. Now, another important thing to remember is that aura effects do not stack with each other, meaning that multiple Titans with shield dampeners, for example, they will not reduce enemy shields further than 20%. They can stack with other effects, though. For example, if you have a star base in the system that has, say, a disruption field generator, which reduces enemy shield hit points by 20%, and you have a Titan in the same star system that also has the debuffing aura of reducing enemy ship shields by another 20%, those two will combine to reduce enemy shields by 40%. But multiple Titans with the shield dampener will still only reduce enemy shields by 20% and not stack with each other. So because of this, it's a good idea to have multiple Titan designs made with different aura effects to prevent aura effects from being wasted with multiple copies of ships in a joint fleet in order to apply the various defensive aura bonuses, for example. So I've got two Titan designs here. I've got the Julius Caesar class, which has the Subspace Snare, and this effect applies as an offensive aura, so I can have this Titan roaming around on its own, and its offensive aura still applies to enemy ships in the same star system. However, the Imperator Augustus class Titan, I'll want to be merging this Titan up with my other fleets so that those fleets can benefit from that plus 5% bonus ship fire rate from the aura. So speaking of merging fleets, Titans use up a total of 16 points of naval capacity and fleet command limit. So if you intend to merge at least one Titan with your fleets in order to combine its firepower and its aura effects with your other ships, you need to make sure that you have enough fleet command limit in your fleet to be able to merge one. Of course, you can have a Titan fly around by itself in its own little fleet, its fleet of one giant capital ship. You can have multiple Titans combined together in their own fleet to have a fleet of just Titans, and we can do that right now. Oops. Let's go to transfer ships, transfer this Titan over. There we go. Now we've got the JB Holman and the Razor X06 able to merge, and now I've got a fleet of two Titans together. So I could have, you can have these two Titans flying around individually on their own. You can have them in their fleet, or you can merge them with other ships to form their own fleet of joint fleet, and that will make the most use of the defensive auras that you can apply to your Titans. So that should sum it up for this video. To recap, we've covered the Titan's requirements, what you need in order to construct one, the necessary technologies, how to go about building them, their components in the ship designer, and how to use them with your fleets utilizing their strong aura components. So I hope this video has been helpful for new and old players alike, learning one of the new things that's come to Stellaris Console Edition this year. If you'd enjoy seeing some more videos such as this one, please subscribe to the channel, as there will be additional mechanics videos in the future. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, such as my Twitch channel, where I stream Stellaris Console at least once a week and can interact with viewers whilst I am playing live. You'll also find my Twitter feed, which is a great way to keep in touch with me and where I'll post important announcements. And lastly, you'll find a link to my own personal Discord for fans of my channel to freely join. Thanks very much for watching. This is Mobius signing off for now, and I hope to see you again real soon.